welcome back everyone to Toolbox Talk. My name is Haley and I am joined here today by a very special guest from SEIS, Damian Brooks. Today we are going to be going over the SEIS rental damage waiver insurance integration. So we'll go ahead and get started. So basically, the rental damage waiver insurance program is designed to protect rental businesses for physical damage to the rented equipment while out on rent. It allows rental companies to offer a damage waiver program to their renters, generating an additional revenue stream while limiting their downside risk with extensive insurance coverage. And the integration is seamless. So once you're onboarded, there's no additional work on your end. The integration is going to just do everything for you. And lastly, SEIS is a best of breed provider of insurance products designed specifically for the equipment industry. So there's a couple steps that you'll need to complete before getting this integration set up. First, you'll just need to submit an application to SEIS to obtain a quote for coverage. Once you accept that quote, then you advise Quipli and SEIS so we can turn on the integration. And then once you enable coverage on a product level, you want to make sure that your products are tracked by serial number. And then you are also going to make sure they have the make, model, and year listed. Now we'll go ahead and go into Quipli and I can show you how it works. And of course, there we go. All right, cool. So once you're in the inventory product section, you're going to go into a specific product. So I just chose a random one here. You're going to scroll down to the bottom and make sure that this use SEIS integration to create RDW certificates for this product is selected. And then you're also going to want to make sure that you are tracking by serial units and not by quantity. Once you're done with that, you can save changes. And then we'll go up to the product units tab. And here we are going to see, let's look at number 6, for example. Click edit. So you're going to want to make sure you have the serial number here, the make, model, and year, as we talked about before, and then save changes. And then we are going to go to create an order. I'm just going to pull up one that I already had. All right, so here we have that unit selected in the order page. And once the order has been on rented, I'll refresh my screen just in case. All right, so you will see all of the information here, the product, serial number, certificate number, status, it was approved. Then you can also expand that and see the start date, end date, rental amount, deductible, certificate rate, and certificate cost. And then if you want to download your claim form, your first notice of loss form, you'll just click that button there, fill out all of this information, and once you complete it, you send it to this email here listed at the bottom. All right, so that's pretty much how it works in Quipli. So let's go back to this. So Damian, we have a couple of questions for you. What are the benefits of having a rental damage waiver insurance program?
Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with everybody about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are a number of benefits to having a rental damage waiver insurance program with your for your renters. For the renter themselves, it provides really a couple of big benefits to them. One is that they may not have the proper insurance in place to provide you with. So if they are insured with an insurance company that doesn't meet your standards for financial strength and stability, you know, if you receive a certificate of insurance that says it's from fly-by-night insurance company number one, you probably shouldn't accept that. They may not have adequate limits. So if they're renting a $200,000 piece of equipment from you and they only have $100,000 worth of rental coverage, that's not going to be adequate. They may have a deductible that's larger than you feel comfortable with. So if they provide you with a certificate of insurance that says that they have a $25,000 per occurrence deductible, you may not want to accept that because the renter would have to come up with the first $25,000 of any loss before their insurance would kick in. So there are a number of situations where the renter may not have the proper insurance coverage, and that's really, really important for you to then be able to offer to them some sort of an alternative that's going to make it easier for them. Even if the renter does have the right type of insurance coverage, though, they may not choose to use it. Again, let's go to the situation where a renter has rented equipment coverage, but they don't have an adequate limit. Well, they might be able to obtain an adequate limit from their insurance company, but it'll cost them more money. They may choose not to do that. You may have renters that decide that they really would prefer not to have your machine exposed on their insurance policy, because if they make a claim on a machine that they don't even own, their premiums for their business insurance are going to go up next year. So they may want to just be able to say, even if they have the proper insurance, they may want to be able to say, no, I just want the exposure for accidental loss on this rental to go with the rental company, not with me. So there are some real benefits from that standpoint to the renter. From your standpoint as the rental company, there are a whole slew of them. First of all, is that you can. This is a product where you can make money. So if we if we charge you, say, 10% of your rental for insurance coverage, you can turn around and charge 15% on the waiver to your customer. That gives you a 5-point spread between the waiver that you're offering them, the cost of the waiver that you're offering them, and the cost of the insurance that you're buying from us. So there's an opportunity to earn money on this. So an additional source of revenue. You know that the coverage that we're offering is adequate for you. And so you don't have to worry about vetting their insurance coverage in order to move forward with them. And in the event that there's a claim, it's really much better for you to be working with us on getting that claim resolved. Your renter's insurance company doesn't have much of an incentive to pay you quickly, whereas we do. For every minute that your machine is sitting in a repair shop unrepaired and not paid for, not back out on the road earning rent for you, we can't make any premium. So, one, there's a moral imperative for us to pay your claims quickly because we're your insurance company and that's what we're supposed to do. But purely from a selfish interest standpoint, it pays us to get you back working again as quickly as possible with that machine. So we want to pay your claims very, very quickly. So you can see there's a whole host of reasons why you would want to have a rental damage waiver insurance program.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So next question, what does the rental damage waiver insurance cover?
That's a really good question. We have a what's called in the insurance industry a broad form or comprehensive coverage form. So instead of telling you what you're covered for and then excluding everything else, we tell you you're covered for everything except, and we list off those exceptions or exclusions. So our coverage clause is that we will pay for direct physical loss or damage to covered property caused by or resulting from any covered cause of loss. And that applies to mobile equipment, it applies to portable equipment, it applies to trailers other than semi-trailers, camping trailers, office trailers, mobile homes. And it applies to attachments to your machinery. There are exclusions that go along with that. Aircraft and watercraft are excluded. ATVs and UTVs are excluded. We won't insure anything that's being used in logging or pulpwood operations. Now, it's important to distinguish between those and anything involving trees. For example, we had somebody call us up and say, "Hey, I have a client who is renting a spider lift from us. They're an arborist. They have a contract with the local school board to trim trees on schoolyards." I checked that out with the underwriter, not a problem, because you're not out there in the woods knocking trees down and hauling them off to a sawmill to get that done. So anything involving trees or land maintenance, it's a good idea to talk with us first, but there's a distinction between that and logging or pulpwood operations. Same thing with stripper underground mining operations. We don't cover those. But we will cover aggregate work. So if you've got somebody that rents a bulldozer because they need to move gravel around in a quarry, not a problem. Just don't drive anything underground. We don't cover anything while it's waterborne. And we don't cover anything that's really self-propelled and meant to go on the road. So if it's a semi-truck or a dump truck, we won't cover it there. If it's something that's intended just to move machinery around equipment around as its primary purpose, and it happens to be mounted on a vehicle, we can insure it while it's being used as equipment. So an example of that would be a cherry picker. It's on a truck. While the truck's on the roads, on a public road, it's insured under an auto policy. But when you stop it and start using it as a cherry picker, then at that point, it's insured under our policy.
Awesome. Very good to know.
Mhm.
All right, and last question for you, Damien. What are the initial steps companies need to take to be able to use this integration?
Well, the first thing that you need to do is contact Annika. She is she's your conduit into this product. So you need to contact her right away and say, "Annika, I'm interested in this. Can you get me an insurance application?" And I know that a lot of you have done insurance applications before, and they're 27 pages of really, really silly questions. I've been in the insurance industry since 1996. I hate applications more than any of you do. And so I was able to pare this down to one page. And a big chunk of that page is your name and address. So we're going to try and make it as simple as possible for you to fill out this application and get on board with us. Once you filled it in, you're going to send it to Annika, who's going to forward it to me. I'm going to walk you through all the different coverages, make sure that you don't have any questions about that. And then we're going to provide you with a quote. The quote will give you a rate based on your, it'll give you a rate on your rentals to determine what your premium would be. So for example, if we were to quote you a 10% rate on a $1,000 rental, it would be $100 extra in insurance cost to you. It'd also give you a deductible per unit per occurrence, and that would apply to all units up to $500,000. Anything that's more than that, we don't offer automatic coverage. You'd need to contact me for special terms on that. But once we've quoted to you, then you just need to let me and Quipli know that you want to proceed with that quote, and we'll turn on the integration.
Amazing. Thank you so much again, Damien, for joining us today. All right, and now we can go ahead and scooch over to, yep, he just went over this. So this is Annika's email address if you want to reach out to her about this. Denise, I just saw you posted about this in the chat. So if you want to write down this email address, yep, she's got it. Perfect. All right, and any questions?
I'm going to jump in with one more point here.
Yeah, please do.
Our coverages and the coverages that we offer are the best in the market. And I say that with all due pride, but they're not miles ahead of everything else that's out there. And we charge fair premiums in the marketplace, but they're not miles ahead of the premiums that are being charged out there by other insurance companies. What we do better than anybody else, though, is we pay claims. Insurance is just a promise that when something bad happens to you, we're going to be there for you. And anybody can make promises. The question is who keeps them. And we're very, very proud of how we keep our promises. And just to give you an example, um, I've seen $15,000, $20,000 claims that have been paid within 72 hours of us receiving a first notice of loss. That's unheard of in the insurance industry. And again, I've been doing this since 1996. I've written a lot of insurance programs over the years. I've written a lot of insurance programs for dealerships over the years. I have never seen anything even close to this. I was speaking with a dealer the other day who had been, up until this point, not employing a damage waiver program. They had just been asking for insurance certificates from their renters every single time. And I said, "Have you ever made a claim with one of those, your customers' insurance companies?" He said, "Yeah, I'm finishing one off right now." I said, "How long did it take to get it settled from when the loss happened until now?" He said, "It's been 4 months." I've paid. We've seen on our program over $100,000 loss that was paid within 3 weeks. Again, this is unheard of in the industry. We pay claims better than anybody else does, and I will fight anybody who says otherwise. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. Otherwise, if you aren't sure, if you for sure want to sign up and move forward with SEIS, but you just want to hear more, also feel free to reach out to me. Can always just talk more about it too if you have more specific questions that we didn't cover today.
I'm so excited to be working with Quipli. We already have a number of Quipli rental companies that have signed up with us even before the integration started because they were so anxious to get started. And I'm really excited. Quipli is a market leader, and we couldn't be happier to be working with Quipli to bring this coverage to Quipli customers.
Thanks, Damien. We feel the same about working with you.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions. If anyone does have any additional questions, as I said, feel free to email me, later today, tomorrow. If you do have any questions or if you're interested, just reach out and we'll follow up with you. And Denise, I will send you an email as well. But thanks everyone for joining today. Thanks again, Damien.
Thank you.
I appreciate the invitation.